Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. This morning on August 1, I have Natasha with me. By the time that you guys will be listening to this, it will be Wednesday, August 3rd. And so without further ado, I'm going to let Natasha take it away.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'm really excited. So my name is Natasha Nurse. I started a company called Dressing Room 8 with a business partner, and it's all about empowering women. So I'm a licensed attorney by trade, New York attorney, and I wasn't very happy in my previous role. And when the opportunity struck for me to make a decision and decide what I wanted to do, I decided to go forward with entrepreneurship. I have always loved business. I've always loved the idea of building something of your own and making it grow. So our business primarily is all about empowering women for personal and professional transformation. So we do this through consulting with women business owners as well as businesses geared towards women for products or services, doing personal and business coaching, and then also doing a lot of public speaking and doing talks that are about having a plan and making it happen, using networking for the benefit of your personal life or your business life, using fashion as a tool of empowerment. So that's pretty much kind of the circle of where I live. It's all about empowerment, using tools, techniques, fashion, and just making the life that you want for yourself.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And how I found Natasha, you guys, is, I'm very active on Twitter, almost too active. And I found Natasha because of her Twitter profile picture, believe it or not. And what I didn't even know what she was all about, I said, can I interview you? She accepted it and we set it up. But I want you to explain to people why you chose that Twitter profile picture.
Okay, yeah. So social media is key, right? I think it is really the equalizer for people individually or for businesses. And for Twitter, we have a heading that's, fashion as power, because I have found as a plus-size woman, one of the best ways to take back control of your life is to make sure that the presentation that you're putting out there to the world is completely what you want it to be. So you're dressing for comfort and for style. You're dressing clothing, you're putting your body in clothing that flatters your body type, that makes you feel good and powerful, and that you're not going to be wearing something that you feel uncomfortable in, makes you, kind of adjust your clothing too frequently, or you just don't feel good in it, right? You just kind of feel like it's frumpy or it's not exactly the style that you want to portray. So that's, it's just remembering that, like, we have the power and we have the opportunity to not only, focus on our own style and our own presentation, but that we have the power to also affect fashion as an industry, that you can go out there and you can tweet, you can have Insta stories, you can go on Facebook Live and talk to brands directly and tell them what you're thinking and use your voice as a way to push forward your platform and what you want, whatever changes you want seen in either fashion or general life. Like, you have the power to live and make the life that you want for yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. And believe it or not, I'm going back to school for fashion journalism, believe it or not, Natasha. And I am stepping away from early childhood education, slowly but surely. And because I'm designing the life I want, despite my disability, and people know I'm a fashionista and all, so why not combine fashion? Why not combine journalism with the work I'm doing now and just do a sense of it in fashion? Because I have come to the conclusion, and people have asked me, and I'm slowly but surely designing an app, you guys, for the disabled to help them get dressed. And I have come to the conclusion that unless you see a fashionable person growing up, especially when you have a disability, you are not going to have the fashion bug in you. And I'm finding that a lot of people with Down syndrome can't find anything fashionable because of how it fits on them, and then they wear big baggy clothes anyway. And I've been asked over the years to teach the disabled how to dress nicely. And I'm like, yeah, I could teach the disabled, but it's not the way that they're going to like.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. That's very inspiring. Wow, that's excellent. So, is that something that's launching this year?
The app may be launching, the app will be launching in, I'm hoping, April 2018. I'm hoping for that.
Wonderful.
And so, why did you get so sick of being an attorney? Why did you completely switch your career path? I hear this story all the time of becoming an attorney and just switching their career path or going out on their own for a big firm.
So it's actually, I think, a couple of reasons. First, I actually went to law school at a really poor time in our economy. I started in 2008. And as you know, that's when the financial industry kind of really took a hit, but the legal economy also, like the legal industry also got a big hit because law is tied to every aspect of our economy. So when I started, everything kind of went to hell. And when I graduated, it wasn't that much better, actually. And so I kind of went down a non-traditional path, and I did various things. I did sales. I did doc review. I did recruiting. And then I got into the space of legal education and sales. And then, I had found that no matter what job or role that I was in, that there was always a sense of uncomfortability in the sense of that, I'm a very dynamic person. I love to share ideas. I'm constantly, thinking about different creative ways that one could approach something, whether it's how you're writing something or how you're marketing it or how you're connecting with your audience. And when you're speaking to either older institutions, corporate institutions, or people who are just not super open, they usually frown on that type of behavior, that type of approach to life. And I think that if you keep doing something and you keep kind of running into a wall, or you feel like, why is everything always you can't always be the problem, right? So if you're not in a situation where you feel like you're thriving, where you feel like you're being celebrated, then you have two choices, right? You either change yourself or you change your situation. And I'm always going to advocate to change your situation because you are meant to be the person you're meant to be. And I think that if you're in an environment that doesn't celebrate you, then you need to find the environment or create the environment that celebrates you and where you're allowed to be as free and awesome as you want to be.
I do agree with that. You guys, I apologize for the coughing attack, but as Natasha was saying, we need to design the life that we will have for ourselves. And
absolutely.
Natasha, do you ever think you would be going back to law?
That's a great question. I get that asked a lot by my Caribbean family, who's very more traditional than I am. I would say that law never leaves me, right? I always find ways to incorporate it in my life. Even if it's not necessarily on the front side of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, my legal brain is always in my head, right? So I'm always, there's a certain personality type that goes to law school, and so you tend to be more A-type personality, you tend to be more problem solver, and that's the basis, a big part of who I am, right? I'm just kind of switching gears. I'm not necessarily solving legal issues, but I'm solving personal issues, or I'm solving issues within a business, or issues with someone wanting to be better at something, right? So I'm always problem solving. And then also I'm still very much connected with my law school. I went to New York Law School. I'm still very much connected with various organizations and people in the legal community, and whether we collaborate on something that's supporting their endeavor in law, I will never like fully depart from it. I think it's just my day-to-day. No, I'm not going to go to a law firm. I'm not going to be going to court or anything like that. I think that if that was meant to be, it would have been. And I think that living the life that I currently live and having the amount of control and flexibility in my current life, I wouldn't. It would be crazy for me to want to leave it. And again, I would never discourage people from pursuing law. I think that's some of the saddest things that I see, especially in the legal community. You see, when you're like a bubbling new law student and you go speak to lawyers, the first thing typically they say is don't do it. Don't become a lawyer. Even if they've been practicing for 20, 30 years, whatever. And I think that that's crazy. When I speak to students, I say, law school, it's a wonderful investment in who you are as a person. It's going to be a wonderful investment in your career if you want to be a lawyer and practice, or if you don't want to be a lawyer and you want to do something more non-traditional. It's a stepping stone. It's a conduit for either a connection to law or not law, or maybe a bit of both, So I think a part of me, I'm always going to be a lawyer, right? So it's always with me. But no, I don't think I would go back into a more non-traditional path. Does that answer surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me at all. I came from the philosophy of you become a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, and so what did I do? I choose teaching instead. So my question to you is, for those who want the traditional path, i.e. the doctor or the lawyer or the teacher, what would you say to them? And then for those who want the non-traditional path?
So I think, I think professional, further education always just is a great investment in your life, because you're going to learn more about yourself. You're going to learn more about an industry that you potentially will practice in. And so a graduate degree is going to most likely be overwhelmingly more helpful than not. Just what I would say is you want to, Jim Carrey says intention is everything. So you really just want to think about why you're getting your graduate degree and how is it going to, how do you foresee using it? So for those people who are gun-ho about knowing that they're going to get into their practice area, then make sure that you're making connections, you're interviewing, you're working in your field of choice, you're gaining as much practical experience as you are educational. And then for those who are wavering, right, and they're a little bit more open to something non-conventional, then take the time to explore the different options. For law, right, if you don't necessarily want to be a traditional attorney, you can get into compliance, you can get into finance, you can get into education, you can get into business. There's a myriad of ways that you can go. So you need to just figure out, what is your intention? What do you think a job is going to do that's going to supplement a part of your life, so that when you're working, because you spend more time working than not working, right? What are you going to be doing during those hours, and is this going to be a part of the journey of happiness and joy for yourself?
So I understand where you're coming from. You're coming from the perspective of, is your work going to be joyous, or is your work going to be miserable?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
and that's why you made your decision to change, right?
Yeah, because my work is becoming miserable, and I think it's because of the paycheck, you guys. And so, even though lawyers could make a lot of money, they have to do what we all don't want to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, some do. Yeah, it depends on what type of law.
Well, so some type of law, and so it's going to be this way. And so what would you say to women that don't feel empowered?
That's a wonderful question. Wow. So if you don't feel empowered, you'd really want to sit and figure out why, right? The big why. And I think that there are different arenas in our life where you can find a sense of power or not. There's definitely the beauty and the external. There's the side of health and nutrition. There's spirituality. There's career. There's personal relationships. There's love relationships, right? There's family relationships. And then there's also the passion. Do you have passions in your life? Are you doing things that you enjoy? And then also the side of just like, are you taking the time to grow and learn more about yourself? Because, we're on this journey of life and we have to figure out a lot of these things that I just mentioned, right? What are we doing when we wake up and how we're planning our day and the types of relationships we're building and changing and all this stuff. But then there's also your own self-relationship and the relationship with loving and growing yourself. So if a woman is not feeling empowered, I would encourage her to sit down and congratulate herself for being that honest and open with herself, because a lot of people don't want to have that type of actualization, unfortunately. They'd rather kind of have a busy life and not really think about what's going on the inside. But if you kind of hit that threshold and you're like, you know what? I'm not happy, I don't feel good, then why, right? And think about write down a list of all the things that make you unhappy. And then, again, be the problem solver. Be, your own savior. Based on the list of things, whether it's 2 things, 20 things, 30 things, whatever the amount is, what are the things that you need to do to correct this situation? And then the biggest thing with a goal to actually achieve it is to give yourself a deadline. So, for instance, we can take nutrition. Maybe you feel like a person feels like they are not eating as well as they could be eating. Then, okay, well, what does that mean? Let's break that out. Are you overeating, undereating, not eating the things you'd like to eat? Maybe you'd like to change your eating habits. Do some research, figure out what are the plans or the food choices or the approach to nutrition that you need to embark upon, and when are you going to start, and what are the resources that you need to get, and go and get them, and track your progress on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and you kind of take that approach and you work it all the way down your checklist for all the things that you want to work on, and it might sound like a lot of work, but I recently heard a quote that said, or someone saying, change is, everyone looks at change and they look at the big picture. But at the end of the day, right, if you just do 1% change every day, in 30 days, it's like a 30% change in your life, right? So it's about taking small steps. It's about figuring out what the big picture is and then breaking that big picture out onto a daily plan for yourself and incorporating as much as you need to, depending upon what the things you want to change and move forward with in your life.
Well, I definitely agree. And this is why I made my change, and this is the why I'm making my change public, and we'll see how it goes. But if it comes to worse, I'm going back to teaching English once a week. But at least I'm doing something I enjoy.
Absolutely.
Now, where can people find you, and how can people get a hold of you? And before I let you go, I want you to ask me a couple of questions. Okay,
great. So first, the best way to contact me is to visit, my website, www.dressingroom8.com. And then you can also email me, Natasha@dressingroom8.com. And on the website, you'll see all my social media handles for Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest and Google+. So just come to the website and you'll see my content that I put out about fashion, about my coaching perspective, about lifestyle matters that we should all be thinking about, and featured interviews that I've done with various people in business and in fashion. And And, I think that, people should also feel free to just, email a question or, I love when I get those emails that are just like, I just wanted to say hi, or I just wanted to share a little bit about myself. Always feel free. You have to have a fearless approach to life, right? And we're all human beings, and we're all equally weighted and equally important. So, don't be afraid to holler. I love to meet new people and learn something new every single day of my life. So then the other thing is, so I guess what I would love to learn from you is, when it comes to your platform, what are some of the things that have surprised you, or that you didn't know about yourself as you've gone on this new journey of your life?
Well, it doesn't surprise me, my resilience, but it surprises me how quickly I've decided to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why?
how quickly I've decided to get out of the field, just like being a lawyer, that is very stressful, and you have no money coming in. You have absolutely no money coming in when you are a teacher, and teachers know that by now. They've heard me ramble on about this, and I don't care whether you're disabled or not. We don't have enough money coming in as a society of teachers. So that's what made me decide to do this.
Wonderful. Okay. Awesome. And what are some of the challenges that you faced in doing this?
Just now, not so much, but at the beginning, just having people accept my story. And now, not so much. Now it's easy, but at the beginning, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I think a lot of solo entrepreneurs don't know what they're doing at the beginning.
Okay. Gotcha. And have you always been a fan of technology since you're building the app?
Yes, I've always been a fan of technology. I mean, I have been an Apple fangirl for several years now, and I had the big desktop, the colored desktop, the everything, in demand. So I've always been a fan of technology. I've always been a fan of the assistive technology, but we'll see.
Awesome. That is exciting. I definitely can't. I can't wait to see. Is it coming just for Apple products, or is it going to be available on Android as well?
It's going to be available everywhere, because I'm realizing that so many people use Apple, so many people use Android, so it's going to be available everywhere. But we'll see whether I can pull this off in April 2018.
Of course you can. You have a plan. You have a date every day, right? Just work towards achieving it. That's exciting.
Every day. But we'll see what happens. And so I appreciate Natasha's time. We'll have all Natasha's information in the show notes. And I apologize for the coughing attack during the interview. I tried to put my mic up. I tried to mute my mic, you guys, and that didn't work. So I apologize to you guys, but we'll edit that out as quickly as we can. And by the time that you guys listen to this, it will be Wednesday. So I hope you enjoy Natasha's story, and I just appreciate all the love and support of this podcast, and I appreciate Natasha's time this morning. Thanks, you guys.